Well, I got the news you want to hear. A magic metabolic enhancing therapy which takes nearly zero effort and sells at the reasonable price of free $99. The catch, you ask? You just need to rechannel with the evolutionary habit of not doing anything for a solid 8 hours between 8 p.m. and 10 a.m. Easier said than done. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftingbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. Today, we are exploring the figurative biological finger, which flicks the first domino in a series of events from the brain to the heart and then throughout the entire body, regulating quite possibly the most important hormone modulating health and disease. And if that sounded just a little bit too poetic, you're right, because I stole half of that vividly described summary from the authors of the study that we are going to be breaking down today, specifically highlighting how sleep, and in particular cellular activity during deep sleep, may be one of the main regulators of our glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity the following day. And if you're wondering why you should care, it's simply because insulin resistance, or the desensitization of critical tissue to the energy-regulating hormone insulin, is one of the earliest signs of cellular dysfunction and disease onset we currently have a means of tracking, being implicated in many of the diseases which steer the average intelligent walking ape into living the last third of their life in a state of morbidity, or a state of being diseased. A total longevity buzzkill that straight up don't gotta happen. So we're gonna stop sitting in the backseat as modern day societal norms drive our health into a lake of disease and dysfunction, and hop back in the driver's seat. First, breaking down this new data hot off the longevity wire, and then talking some tactical ways that you can improve your deep sleep and thus your cellular and metabolic vibe, which is the Gen Z way of saying function and efficiency. Don't make fun of me or I'll turn this bus around. But first, we must preface this cellular and metabolic journey with some key sleep and metabolic information, starting with one of the main outcomes which we are trying to prevent. Diabetes is a condition of glucose dysregulation throughout the body, and it's a major cause of both morbidity and mortality globally. In fact, the World Health Organization estimates that over 420 million people are suffering from the condition today, with no deceleration in sight. Yikes is right. The main underlying factor in this condition is insulin resistance, which happens long before diabetes is ever diagnosed and is hypothesized to be impacting the majority of adults in westernized society today, with most people not having a clue that it's happening. Now, for quite a while, there has been a connection between sleep and metabolic health, with the constant observation that chronically insufficient sleep is a causal factor in impacting blood glucose equilibrium. And as we know from all of our previous diabetes deep dives, all of which will be linked below, chronically elevated blood glucose means diabetes, whether it be due to individual tissue types not responding to insulin, the hormone which is required to shuttle glucose into the cell, or the dysfunction and failure of pancreatic beta cells, which hold the responsibility of secreting insulin in the first place. Oftentimes, in the case of type 2 diabetes, the former leading the latter. Now, although research indicates that both acute and chronic sleep restriction impairs glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity, and that the opposite happens following a night of good high-quality Z's, who would have thought, we continue to face a pretty glaring problem. We really don't know why. That is, until a recent seminal study in rodents brought to light a potential candidate pathway, a sharp wave of electrical ripples, coined slow oscillations or sleep spindles, produced in the brain during deep sleep. Slow wave oscillations and spindles, which have been long studied for their role in a variety of functions, including memory consolidation, learning, and brain development. However, that may have just been the tip of the cellular and metabolic iceberg. Time for this new study. Human Sleep Lab Study. I know, I'm excited too. In an experimentation of over 600 humans, researchers out of UC Berkeley investigated the relationship between synchronized sleep oscillations and next-day blood glucose control in humans, seeking the mechanism in which sleep may modulate this critical metabolic health marker. To do this, they conducted a cross-sectional study of healthy adults who underwent overnight polysomnography, which is the creme de la creme in sleep brainwave monitoring, along with next morning blood glucose and insulin measurements. Here they used a novel method in quantifying the coupling between sleep oscillations and sleep spindles to see if an association and the mechanism could be identified. So, what'd they find? Well, first, that an association between these deep sleep happenings and next day peripheral glucose did, in fact, exist. But they didn't stop there. They controlled for many of the other factors that have been known to affect metabolic health, including age, gender, race, BMI, hypertension, and even sleep measurements such as sleep apnea, total quantity and quality, still finding that these associations remain significant. Which brings us to the next question. What exactly was going on? Well, they identified that this sleep-associated glucose pathway may influence glycemic status through altered insulin sensitivity at the cellular level rather than any impact on total insulin secreted from those pancreatic beta cells. Interesting. But how is this signal getting transmitted? Well, their findings also identified that this effect may be taking place through modulation of the nervous system, observing that stronger and more frequent coupling of these deep sleep brainwaves predicted a switch in the body's nervous system state to the more quiescent and calming branch, aka the parasympathetic nervous system, otherwise known as the rest and digest nervous system. They observed a shift to this low stress state using heart rate variability as a proxy. Well, I'll be damned. Taken together, these findings describe a sleep brain body framework for optimizing human glucose homeostasis, offering a potential new sleep signature for glycemic control. And just like that, the black box, which was sleep quality's influence on metabolic health, becomes a little grayer. Still a lot of unknowns, so just a little. Oh, and just to be sure, the researchers conducted a second 1,900-person study and were able to replicate their findings, which sets the stage for other researchers to either strengthen or throw a monkey wrench in these new eye-opening findings. But enough with those open eyes, especially with metabolic function in mind. Let's talk about some tactical ways to optimize your Z's. One of the coolest and most empowering aspects of research like this is the fact that this powerful therapy, which modulates the pathways that sway one's odds towards disease or vitality, is not only in your control, but it don't cost a dime. Only time. Meaning you have the power to take back the reins of your most valuable asset via meaningful and intentional change. I mean, come on. Empowering much? There is a reason we call high-quality circadian aligned sleep the bedrock in which all the other foundational components of health and longevity rise upon. It is the most restorative, regenerating, and detoxifying part of our 24-hour day. A need that has stayed critical and prevalent through millions of years of primate evolution. Exactly why we have a fully loaded How to Sleep playlist highlighting all the tips, tricks, and strategies you need to know to start sleeping like that adult baby that you are. It's a compliment, I promise. Hopefully, no diapers are needed. Anyway, this video, which is a tactical deep dive of different things to do throughout the day, is a great place to start. Also the place where you can find the full explanation of all the sleep optimizing tips we're about to go through. So, without further ado, let's kick off our sleep hacks by opening our eyes. Because little do people realize that good sleep starts with when you get up. So aiming for consistent bed and wake times, even on the weekend, giving yourself a solid 8-hour sleep opportunity each night is a critical place to start. Going to bed when the sun sets, typically between 8 p.m. and midnight, and waking up when it rises, between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. This will go a long way in keeping your circadian rhythms and body clock aligned. And once you're up, getting 5 to 10 minutes of ambient sun in the morning will align these rhythms even stronger, sending the signal from the environment to your brain to upregulate daytime gene expression and bodily processes, literally energizing you from within for the day. And you get bonus points if you add a little movement to that outdoor time, whether it be stretching, yoga, walking, whatever. Next, we move to the caffeine, because any sleep video that does not address it isn't doing its job. Try and say no to the caffeine after 12 p.m. or noon. This is because caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 7 hours, and it's been shown to impair sleep quality when too abundant going into the night. Then, don't forget to get your daily exercise in. This has been shown to help with both sleep onset and quality. Every little bit counts. Even a walk can make a difference. Another important factor here is diet. Yes, unfortunately, it does impact sleep quality, as we saw in this video here. So prioritize that real whole nourishing food and aim to finish your last meal of the day a few hours before bed so you are not stressing your body out with digestion into the night. Next, I cannot stress enough how important managing your stress is for sleep, as dysfunction of cortisol cycles, aka your main stress hormone, can be a total sleep killer. So building a protocol which leverages the usual stress mitigators such as exercise, nature, breath work, meditation, grounding, all that good stuff can make a big difference. And as we move into the evening, begin avoiding artificial light as the sun sets. A couple of strategies here are dimming overhead lights or using table lamps, set the night filters on all your electronics, and wearing snazzy blue light blocking glasses. I have 6 pairs. Don't know why, but I got them. This will help keep your innate melatonin secretion strong, bringing you to a more efficient and faster dreamland. And while doing that, say no to the prescription sleep pills and alcohol, as both of these absolutely kill deep sleep. Finally, building a sustainable and repeatable nightly wind down protocol and deploying it about an hour before bed is super helpful. Super duper helpful. Yeah, I just took it there. This should include ridding yourself of stress and all of those electronic distraction devices, finding a way to reduce core body temperature, creating a dark, cool room environment, thus preparing yourself for a badass night of high-quality circadian aligned Z's. Again, full explanations along with my current sleep protocol can be found in the aforementioned How to Sleep playlist. And reality is, everyone's ideal strategy is gonna look a little different, and that's okay, because when it's all said and done, it's not about being perfect. There is no perfect. It's about putting in a genuine effort. It's about making your health a priority and valuing your day-to-day mood, feel, and cognition as it should be valued. And you're just not you, inside and out, when you get shitty sleep. Mainly because your cellular and metabolic self isn't being put in a position to function efficiently. So let's break the vicious cycle, rebel against the societal norms that have been bringing us down, and finally start tapping into your true biological potential. It's there, but it doesn't just happen. You need to make it happen. And if you're in any doubt that consistent high-quality Z's can change your life, sleep on it and watch this video again in the morning. It's science.